This is Descenders. It is currently in game preview. It is a procedural generating bike game, which sounds odd, but it's actually kind of cool and a fair bit of fun too. It's also very interesting in the style that they've set up for this. Cool, so this will be captured on Xbox One X here. So it actually is enhanced, as I've died right off the bat there, which is just a little bit embarrassing, obviously, as you can imagine. But as you can see, yeah, it's looking pretty good. It's large, there's a good draw distance to it, and it's actually a fairly lovely looking game as far as being realistic. You get your own little biking guy, and then you go and you do sort of races and so forth, but not really. Think of it as like a 3D trials to a degree, if that makes sense. Okay, so we've got different areas here. First off, you can go to the shed, and you can customize your character to a degree. So what I've done is put on the chicken head. You can see I got like the Xbox One kind of gear going on, which I think is kind of cool. And then I got the chicken head because that's just hilarious. So you unlock gear, you can actually sign up with different companies. Like I'm with the Kinetic group, which is, I guess, all about speed. I got this choice once I hit a certain point in the kind of racing that I've been doing. There's a set track, which I'll show in a sec here. There's advanced tips if you want to kind of learn how to do things. There's a little bit of a tutorial, but it does sort of just throw you into the action, which I do appreciate. I'm not really a fan of games that take too long to get you going. There's standings with the leaderboards, and then there's the ride section. So we have career and free ride. So I first want to start by going to free ride and kind of showing what this exactly is. So in free ride, you get to check out whatever kind of course you want. I don't know why that is. I thought there'd be more options because I did actually pass through to the next area. Anyways, it's kind of like a dungeon crawler, if that makes sense to anyone, in the sense that you move through this sort of set trail area, and then you have to hit this certain checkpoint objective at the far end of it after so many kind of runs down the course, and then that unlocks a direct route to the next area. It'll make some more sense when we're actually doing it. So you can change the visual style, you can have a gameplay modifier, you can edit how much health you have, change the steepness of the course, the curves, the stunts, and you can generate a level. It's kind of like Minecraft, because there are seeds present. Other games use seeds, but I really do like to kind of get that across to people in the sense that Minecraft is a very good base comparison for anything that has this style of gameplay to it. Cool, so we're just loading in here. It does load fairly fast. Matches aren't terribly long, but they're a good track. And what's really cool is for those that like to do streaming and music and all that, the soundtrack is completely licensed for that, so you're good to sort of go and do that. I just kind of let you guys see the track initially kind of go through here. So with the procedural generation, it's sort of random to a degree, if that makes sense. Yeah. So basically, as far as the One X goes, I don't exactly know the improvements of this too much. I wasn't exactly given too many details. Woo! But it's supposed to have crisper, higher visuals. And of course, this is a game preview game, as I mentioned. So those are it's likely to change. Oh crap! Just visually, and they'll change and enhance things as time goes on. And the game preview program has actually been really good on Xbox, so you can have a certain sense of confidence with that. The games have actually been getting developed and released because it's a very curated thing. So we're kind of like, oh, dying. Ugh, chicken guy, no. But you see, we're just sort of racing along this track here. But it's also very open to. It's weird because, wow, that was really bad on me there. But it's a weird game because there's not exactly a lot to it, if that makes sense. There's no direct, really campaign that you're doing. The levels are varied. They're always like dynamic, but they're nothing like too crazy, you go and you do ramps, and you continue going that way. So it really depends. Wow, I can't believe I hit that. It really depends what sort of value you're looking for in this game. I think there's a lot of options if you like the bike style of it. I knew somebody that would really love this kind of game, and you just kind of can play over and over again with that. You know, that's just what it is. Personally, I think it's a little bit light on what you can do exactly, but I think this is going to be something that a lot of people find really fun, and I think it is a fairly impressive effort, if that makes sense. Because I really wouldn't have anticipated a biking game to kind of really be like this generation style, and the fact that it's always dynamic. See, that keeps things very easy for sort of the longevity of the game and the replay value of it, because it's never the same sort of experience. It's always different. The courses won't be the same. What I do won't be the same. I just hope that they push and add more dynamic things that you can do on the course. Now keep in mind, this is just the base area too, right? There's other sections. The second one is a forest, so the courses are different. They're more like hills. There's lots more of trees. The grass is different. There's like little bits of more different shrubbery. Even the jumps are like, you know, like get some logs on the ground and so forth. And yeah, that one's a bit different. But I died. Wipe out with the chicken guy. So anyways, I'm like chatting, so I'm not really focusing too much or being too competitive with this, but I hope I am actually showing off what it has to offer. Oh no! I think that's a failure. But you can also just sort of, you know, not really follow the trail at all, which I think is interesting. See, it's very loosely based on having you actually do something. So we're going to do that right here. I'm just going to go completely off the course. And there's nothing really locking you in from actually doing what you're supposed to be doing, which I find is weird. Like, we can go over here. I wish there was a little bit more dynamics to the textures in the background. Because if you look over there, you can kind of see the rocks. They're just like the sort of same texture, and it loads in as you get closer to it. They actually do a really good job with the not really having any poppin', if that makes sense. A lot of the One X games really push it, and then you get nasty grass poppin'. But they do a good job here where it sort of naturally fades in with the green. But you can see in the far distance how the textures are just like repeating on the ground. That kind of like, not the best to me. But I do think visually it looks really good. But notice right there, it's like I'm not actually doing the course at all. I'm completely ignoring the course. So you don't have to really like do anything specific. I'm having trouble with that. There was one time I couldn't do this big final jump, so I just literally casually rode around it, and that was fine. You can also like easily turn to the side using like the right stick. You can kind of move. There's braking. Ow. Hay bales. You can also just do this. You can do tricky things as far as like flips and all that, and you can do little side tricks too. And I mean, there's lots of dynamics to it. I think the physics are pretty good in it. It sort of captures it really well, like the realism of biking, I guess, while doing some insane but yet really grounded stunts, if that makes sense. Like, if you're looking for trials type jumps, you're not exactly going to get that here. Though you are going to get something that's a little bit more realistic biking, which is fine. So you can see, like, we're trying to get over to the skull over here, and you see how it's networked like a web. And that's sort of where the dungeon crawling aspect that I mentioned comes into it. Kind of like a roguelite, if that makes sense, to a degree. I think it loads pretty well too, at least on the One X. Not really too sure about the base console because, I mean, I don't really care about that anymore. You get like a pretty far draw distance. You can see the hills all the way over there on the right hand side. A lot of physics going on. You see little hay bales going down the cliff, and you go pretty quick. Slow that down a bit so you don't tragically die. I think the presentation's clean, and it's like a very basic but streamlined sort of title. I see the value in it for some folks, and I see others going, you know, might not exactly be for me, just because it does, again, feel kind of light on the content. But I'm not really sure how much content you would add to this. If you could add like set races and stuff like that. But I think the whole appeal of what they're trying to do here is make this something that you could play as many times as you want without having any element of getting bored of it. Sure. And you also just saw like a bonus come into play that I was able to choose to kind of help along my journey. Every session has new paths to explore. That's true. I do really feel that the music is good and vibes really well with the game, and it's nice to be able to actually include it in the video and not have to worry about things. I tell ya. Whoa. That was not good. I'm gonna roll through here. So obviously it's a little bit safer to actually take the track, but you can have fun with it. Just go wherever. It's a very neat setup that they've done in that regard. Like, I wouldn't have thought of actually doing anything like this with this type of game. It wouldn't have come to mind, but it makes complete sense, because in like nature you're not gonna always come across the same path. We're always getting something different. And it does look, you know, again, visually impressive. I think it looks fairly nice. Woo! Always do backflip. Should we try a front flip? What? Ah, tweak backflip. That's what I'm talking about. See, you get a little tricky. Nice. Continue along. Ooh, what's this one? Mix things up a little bit. See how things will never be the same. Tons of mutators and different things to kind of unlock and play through here. Trick combos, deep physics. It gets that downhill racing down really well, I think. Oh, what a camera angle. Do we have a camera on our head? That'd be pretty funny. It's kind of terrifying, actually, to be honest. I remember playing one of these kinds of games on PC, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. Oh, but yeah, that's scary when I can't see my character and I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, just what we need is something like this on VR, eh? Crazy. Right into the tree, and I'm gonna fail out because I can't handle this camera perspective. So I mean, I'm not exactly the best at this, but I think I do alright. I actually have like a good time with it. It is a very fun but very simple game. I wish there was more of a competition to it. You know what I mean? Like something more direct with, like, I don't know, maybe more traditional races. But that's the thing. It's on early access. You don't exactly know what's gonna happen like down the line. I think at a core they've really got the base set up really well. I was hoping I would just kind of rush right through to the forest area, but I've been fooling around too much, so I doubt I'm going to be able to show that. But it is quite cool seeing the different biomes and so forth as you play. And I think there's enough variation in the environment, or at least you should have seen by seeing all the different tracks, that they do actually keep it fairly fresh. I mean, the courses are never really at all even close to the same. Some are longer, some are shorter. And Chicken Man just rolls through it all. Nothing slowing him down. Those mad jumps. And again, I don't want it to seem like this is the only type of environment there is. It does change greatly when you're in the other sections. So I guess that is your sense of progression in this, in the fact that you would make it through the different areas. You gotta look at it as if it is like the type of game where you have to, you know, constantly restart, but you're getting some benefits every time you do it, and kind of judge it based on that as opposed to it being compared to the traditional racing game. And I love that they put Xbox gear into this. Thank you. Seriously, not enough games do little fun crossover things. But I guess folks are pretty happy with the game preview program. At least developers are on this. And it is nice that Microsoft is actually providing a curated thing for our side and letting creators produce like early access titles on consoles. It's a bit of a wild west world out there on PC, so yeah. What happened there? So you can like bunny hop too. And they didn't show that, and I said I would. As I go and kill myself. Girls, we're not supposed to let go of the acceleration. You see me rolling outside the track. Track's pretty deadly if you're trying to do this without going off the accelerator. But again, it's like, you know, you don't even have to really care about going on the track at all. You just go and run to the side. Show compass. Adds more steepness to the map. Yeah, okay. As we move forward to go towards this position. I'm just trying to show off more levels so you can actually get a better idea of how things do look at this. I mean, it doesn't take too long to roll through it. I just don't spend tons of time on early access titles. It's just like a rule of thumb because they change so much. Same with betas. I barely spend any time on betas unless you're unlocking something. There's just like I don't see any value in it. Rolling. I love the chicken head though. Is that a hay bale? Is it like going that way to hit me? That's not cool. Go. You know, it wasn't a GoPro on my head when I was in first person. The shadow was just the chicken head. This is dangerous, but that kind of gives you a glimpse of what the forest track looks like as far as the bottom terrain there. That looks a little bit more like it. Where it's all like browned out. See, I don't give a damn about the track. And the game doesn't care either, which is nice. See, I like what they've done with the grass. It feels more progressional as opposed to being something that's popping in as you're moving by it. It's very hard to do that properly, guys. Seriously, I've seen tons of games, like premium updates, mess that up. We're actually gonna make this. Here we go. Oh, this one's a little bit steeper. Is that so I could do some crazy backflips? Then you don't have to do them at once. Ugh. Well, that's not cool. I should really not fool around so much. But I mean, if you're not having fun with it, what's the point, right? That was really bad. Anyways, that's basically Descenders. It's quite fun to play. I've had a good time with it. It's got good potential if they take it and they expand it with more things. And generally, I really just like more content be available in the free play section, as opposed to having actually like taking time to go and unlock everything and try to achieve stuff. Oh wow!